What we have here is just some draft notes on a larger concept. I'll be looking at the screen, so not looking at you guys, but looking at the screen here. The problem of transferring to a free market society with so much wealth disparity. This video will attempt to create a hypothetical path to evolve the American society from its current economic conditions to a radically new form of market forces without dropping important social safety nets that so many currently depend upon. It will illustrate that the main goal of the new economy will be to continue to protect those who need protection, while allowing those who are able to provide for themselves to make their own path. Ways to measure a free market can vary depending on who you ask. Therefore, I would like to make a list of terms that I would consider to be part of the free market. I am sure to forget many, as I have no idea how a market could be more free for the given transaction you may find yourself in. However, I will attempt all the same. So I'm sure to forget, I'm not going to include all of them. Yours might be something different. Here's just some ideas. In a free market, a seller and buyer agree to a price where two goods are exchanged. One of those goods may be a form of money or currency. At the moment of sale, only the buyer and the seller should have access to set the price. This would naturally exclude any form of sales tax from any free market transaction. Primary rule. I'm pretty sure most free market people would agree with that. Now, a lot of people who aren't free market people, who believe that there should be multiple government controls, they will not even accept that definition of the free market. They don't understand that a market could be that free, or they may not understand. Back to the script. Goods, this is the definition of a good, are any item that a value can be attached. These may include services or tangible goods, and naturally, in tangible goods, there is some service already applied. Money and currency are also considered a good. This eliminates the need for barter, as all transactions are just between two goods. It just separates the idea of, because some people want to go to a barter system to avoid paying taxes. They try and do a lot of trade. And technically, you're supposed to value everything that you trade. I can remember a case in Philadelphia with the electricians union where there was a lot of bartering going on between contractors and executives and stuff. Like, it was weird, and it was like something happened, but then it all cleared up because those guys are like slick. In a free market, more than two individuals may enter into an agreement provided all of the parties agree upon the terms of the agreement. This is to say, a farmer, a butcher, and a chemist may all agree to transact grain, meat, and fuel with a common transaction and agreed upon scales of value. This can also be extrapolated to mean that 100,000 people can choose to form a sub-society within the larger society where they agree that, let's say, their medicine will be paid for by their doctors in that region, and blah, 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 And then that 100,000 may also subsidiarily agree to a much larger community that is basically like out-of-network doctors. But the trick is, well, we'll get to it. Money and currency refers to any non-useful notes of paper or non-precious coins. Okay? So money and currency is any non-useful notes of paper or non-precious coins. That is to say, a dollar bill, a nickel, a quarter, a dime, a penny, any of the currencies around the world. I think in some countries, maybe India, there actually is gold in the note. So, that is different than this type of money. Anyway, sorry. It may also refer to coins of precious value, so that would include those coins, and a variety of non-useful stores of money within the databases, meaning to say, like cryptocurrencies. and I'm sure there's other vehicles similar to cryptocurrencies, but I don't know what they are. I mean, can you really call some of these things cryptocurrencies? I guess if they're traded online and they have no real tangible existence, and that's exactly what they are. At least the dollars have tangible existence. The dollar is pretty much a cryptocurrency. It's just not run very well. And you can actually have pieces of paper. I mean, not for nothing. You can actually have a Bitcoin. You can hold a coin that is a Bitcoin. The early Bitcoins were they were actually issuing coins, but I don't know exactly how that works. Anyway, by saying non-useful means that it can not only directly be used to satisfy a human need, as one cannot eat or build a house with coins or paper money. It has no use, however, it does have value within our market. In a free market, multiple forms of money not only may be used, but must be used. In our current situation, the Federal Reserve Bank notes are the most important money in our society. The total value of this store of money is kept in both the currency form as coins and paper notes, as well as the money form stored within databases of banks. It is a safe estimate to say that 99% or more of all transactions are done in Federal Reserve notes here in this country. This excludes transactions done in barter, meaning to say, we'll bring barter back into it, sorry, because currently so I'll reflect back and forth between New Society and Current Society. Current Society, we still have barter, so in the event that there's any barter trade actually happening, that's not in the 99 plus. What I was saying is that most transactions are being done in Federal Reserve notes, as opposed to in the new cryptocurrencies, the ones the population that started with Bitcoin, and there's thousands of them now. Good luck with all that. This excludes transactions done in barter. What the less than 1% represents is the amount of transactions being done in different forms of money. These different forms of money include cryptocurrencies and other similar products. This is just a few thoughts about what a free market may include. Any individual is free to enter into any agreement with any group of people they wish to. Any form of value may be set to the goods transacted. It is said that a schoolboy once sold a $2 bill to a classmate for $2.50. It's the exact thing what a free market is. Just let the transaction occur. It's true, too. There was a kid that sold a $2 bill for $2.50. Same. Social safety nets. So now we're talking about the new economy and the free market, but we also don't want to drop anyone that's in the social safety nets, because guess what? In a free market, there are no social safety nets, so you can't, like a libertarian, you can't be like, we must go to the world where there's no social safety nets. No, we must go to the world where there's and all the naysayers are like, if you go to this completely free market that you're talking about and no governmental agencies, then what about the people in the social safety net? Well, guess what? The free market, there is no need for a social safety net because everybody has value. Everybody's labor has value. And yes, there are those who are unable to create labor, but believe me, there are things that they can do. Believe me. Anyone who doesn't want to produce something, well, you know what? I've got no time for them. Sorry. But if you're not willing to produce, there's nothing in this new society for you. Like Darwin was right, shit or get off the pot. I'm tired of paying for it. Social safety nets exist for obvious reason to protect those of our society who need extra support to either get through a difficult time or to support them through long-term illness or disability. However, they also exist to maintain that every child has access to a well-balanced education system. In other ways, we depend on social safety to keep our air and waterways clean. So it's not just welfare, unemployment, disability. It's not just that. It's also education. And it's also, it protects our environment. We have the EPA and the FDA to make sure that we have good food and all that stuff. One could argue that each department of the federal government is the apex of a system of social safety nets. Some of the social safety nets are run within a state or municipality. However, even many of these may be granted funding through federal grants. The problem arises when we realize that there are inefficiencies within the system we have set up now. Departments become far too large for proper policing of the employees and the clients which are being served. This is not to say that all government employees and all the people who receive government services are cheating. No, quite the opposite. Most of the people who work for a government office are of the highest quality, and the people who receive these services are too. However, there are inefficiencies. Improving these inefficiencies and hoping to eliminate them is a goal of the new economy. Yet ultimately, the goal is to get all individuals off of government services. It is important to point out that the social safety net does not just refer to health and human services, but instead it applies to all other government agencies, including the Department of Defense. But for this first part, we will just be discussing how citizens in the private sector are going to be able to relieve the government of the services they currently provide. Now, we're here. A path to the new economy cannot begin until certain liberties are realized by consumers and producers. Some of these are the right to work in their particular field without the burden of some government regulations. This is not a call to abolish the EPA or something outlandish like that, but perhaps a small business should not be obligated to collect sales tax for the state. Just little things. Let's think about it. There's a small one-man contractor in New Jersey who does approximately $100,000 in receipts annually. From this money, he has to pay for his insurance, his tools, materials, and various other expenses. He has shopped out the idea of hiring someone to streamline his office work. A major portion of this office work would be to record, collect, and pay out the state income tax that should be collected at the point of sale. The sales tax collected would be about $6,500. The cost of the service of office work is about $12,000 per year using a service. Hiring an employee to do this work would be far more expensive. It costs $12,000 to hire someone to collect $6,000 worth of tax. Eliminating the need for small businesses to collect sales tax is a great step in the right direction for our transition to the free market. However, if the sales taxes from small businesses are not coming through the state books, then state-funded programs will save budget shortfalls that cannot be ignored. One way to eliminate this problem is for the small businesses to have the opportunity to alleviate the financial burden from the state. Something went wrong in that one sentence there. So let's take the case of the small contractor. He could have his tax burden reduced if he was willing to take on a helper who was dependent on the state for resources. If the contractor hires someone who is on unemployment, then they will receive relief on their own burden to the state. The same contractor may choose to bid on work in either government office buildings or courthouses. They could bid on contracts from state or city-owned housing. If the small contractor is able to reduce the need for the municipality to maintain their own maintenance crew, then the municipality will be able to save money. This savings shall be realized in part by the contractor in some special tax reduction. Also, all members of the community will stand to pay lower taxes if the financial burden of the municipality are lower. So the contractor is able to do the work more efficiently than the municipality did, right? Let's say saves the municipality, let's use big numbers, $100,000. Contractor gets a $50,000 tax break, municipality is still up $50,000. $50,000 residents of the community just get another dollar. Whatever, spread it out however you want. Do the math. Any small business, in cases where it is practical, would be able to reap the benefits of these two types of tax deduction. One is hiring employees, the other is actually contracting out work for doing the state's job. Yet there are many more that could be considered. Forgive me again if I do not think of one that you would like to see. Imagine a small preschool is able to provide care for families who work in government offices. This way, the mother or the father of the student, the small child, is able to make it to work on time and not have to worry if the babysitter is going to make it or not. This would cause hours lost due to lateness and absences to go down, which will save the municipality money. A portion of the money saved would be used to fund the gap between the school's tuition and the cost of the babysitter. So let's break it down like this. You can get a preschool. You can get a very good preschool in New Jersey. The highest quality preschool in New Jersey. Not the most expensive, but the highest quality. For about, what the heck's it work out to be? Something like $10 an hour, but it's not even that. No, it's lower than that. It's like $8.50 an hour, right? Per student. It's fair. What's the babysitter cost? Let's say you're dropping the kid off at a babysitter every day, and you're running late to work, and the babysitter's coming to you, and you miss work. You drop it off at the preschool. You get to work on time. You work your full day. You come back. Your child is fed, cared for, educated. I'm talking about a preschool that educates children. I'm talking about 2.5-year-old children that are having conversations. You've seen it. The state can make measurements, because they're good at making measurements, of how much money they lose because of the late babysitter phenomenon. If the school can prove that the child had perfect attendance, therefore if the employee has perfect attendance, then the state knows that they just saved money because of the late babysitter phenomenon. Let's say the state, for this school, saved whatever it is. A portion of that money goes to fill the gap between what they were paying the babysitter and what the tuition of the school is. So if you're paying the babysitter $6 an hour, right? And the school costs, $9 an hour. That's $3 an hour. Haven't crunched out all the numbers. Seems like a lot of money, but there's a value there. A restaurant or grocer may provide food for people who are on assistance. If this business